Elf Day is a 2020 animated feature film directed by Reggie. It's written by BC14, and we have a voice cast including Paul Castro Jr., Katabelle, Mysticat, and Marcus Smith. And honestly, it's not great. It's not horrendous. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, I don't think it's a very good film. It's about an elf who is trying to find out who stole Santa's favourite Christmas tree. As a concept, I thought it sounded quite unique, but the execution is not great. It's not the worst narrative ever, but there are some elements in it that felt really forced, that just didn't feel like they belonged there. So it wasn't that fascinating. Would younger viewers find the narrative interesting? Maybe. I think it's creative enough that there's enough going on to keep younger viewers engaged. Not necessarily a well-written story, but I think there's enough there to never get too stale. So it always moves forward even if the direction isn't that interesting. However, the animation style itself is really not satisfying at all. I don't like the animation style, but again, it's not the worst animation style. But then for 2020, it's not great. It really isn't. It's not always unsightly, but for the most part, it's not a pleasant experience. And the voice acting is fine for the most part. I don't have any real issues with the voice acting. It's a little wooden every now and then, but nothing that was really going to be a cause for concern. Do I recommend it? Not necessarily. Maybe for very young children it might be okay, but I think there are many, many other animated films out there that have a much stronger story. I was going to say more likable characters. I don't dislike any of the characters. I just didn't find them to be that interesting. And the animation style really is not attractive to look at. It's very rough. And the colour palette is, again, it's not amazing. It's not horrendous. So I'd say it's a below average film. But I guess it's borderline watchable. Elf Day is not a decent story. It could have been, but the execution wasn't very good. But there's a decent amount of variety in there that younger viewers might still find it engaging enough. And other than that, I can't really say anything positive about it. It's not the worst, and I'll leave it at that.